Good afternoon, everyone. It's April 15th, 2019. I'm Eric. I'm here at aviationbusiness.com. Man arrested after touching people on American Airlines flight. You might wonder, why am I talking about this? I will get to that as soon as I give you the details. A 25-year-old male flying on American Airlines flight 1346 was arrested on April 12th following a bizarre incident in which he went around the cabin touching the faces of other passengers during the flight. And not only did he or was he touching the faces of the other passengers, he was spraying an unknown liquid on them as well. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, in previous videos, I talked about how easy it would be for a chemist or a biologist or one of these types of people who have access to certain technologies, specifically the CRISPR technologies, how easy it would be for them to create a bug and then go ahead and release it on the public. I'm not saying that this is what happened, okay? However, I think maybe we should probably keep an eye out now for some kind of bizarre disease spreading, simply because what other possible reason could this person have for doing what he did? He may have been doing it to troll the passengers and scare them. Fair enough. But on the other hand, how many people have the desire to see a pandemic or something similar wipe out a large portion of the human population? Now, this guy ended up being arrested. They called the Phoenix Police Department beforehand and told them they had an unruly passenger, and he then, when they landed, he jumped out a service door, falling 10 feet to the tarmac. He was later taken into custody and to the hospital for medical treatment. An official statement released from local law enforcement noted that in addition to touching the faces of fellow passengers, the man was also spraying them with an unknown liquid. It is currently not known what the substance was. And this should be a concern. It could have been a trial run. It could have been infected with a flu, or you name it. And that is a very, very efficient way to get some crazy zombie or flu or some disease spreading around the world. Do it on an international flight, or a flight at least that ends up at an international airport, and then you just let it go. It would not be difficult at all. Since this is short, and I want to bring this to your attention simply because it would not be difficult for these people to do something like that. And the ruling class does have a desire to cull the population by at least 90%. Now, over here at the Free Thought Project, we have a couple of good ones. This one right here, yeah, fuck that AOC bitch, and forget about her stupid Green New Deal. While climate change is a true, real thing occurring, the cause of it has absolutely nothing to do with the activity of your ordinary citizen, and everything to do with cycles our planet goes through, and solar system. But anyway, in February, AOC and the Democratic Senator Edward Markey introduced the Green New Deal. And it's a very radical piece of legislation, and it was meant to overhaul America's economy in the name of fighting global warming. The implementation of the deal is estimated to cost upwards around $50 trillion and may be as high as 90. One of the Green New Deal's goals is to meet 100% of the power demand in the United States through clean, renewable, and zero emissions energy resources in the next 10 years. And don't get me wrong, I have no objection to using better ways to power our grid, but it has to be better. And I am all for not polluting the planet. I think it's disgusting the amount of fucking trash that's all over the place. All the broken glass, the cigarette butts, you name it. Needles, used condoms. People are fucking disgusting. Okay, one of the Green New Deal's goals is to meet 100% of the power demand in the United States through clean, renewable, and zero-emission energy sources in the next 10 years. This alone would cost taxpayers upwards of $13 trillion. And where do they want to get this money from? And it is a mystery where the money will come from, as we are $22 trillion in debt already. And this Green New Deal may prove to be catastrophic in regard to the economy, which is already riddled in waste and just overall poor management. And that's really what our situation boils down to as far as the economy goes. It's really been under extremely poor management, or deliberate. You choose. And they make the point that this thing would be catastrophic in more ways than one. It would be riddled with corrupt government contracts and ineffective bureaucracies. There is, however, a free market solution to fighting pollution and fostering a cleaner, more renewable future for generations to come. And that is hemp. Now, hemp can do everything oil can do, petroleum. And that's one of the reasons why it's been banned for such a long time, that and the timber paper industry. There is a better version of concrete made with hemp. It's called hempcrete, and it's an incredible breakthrough in construction material as far as sustainability goes. Check it out. Because the government is the antithesis to freedom, industrial hemp has been banned nationwide since 1937 due to the plant's similarities to marijuana. Many have speculated that this move was also due to the fact that cannabis is in direct competition with the pharmaceutical industry by providing far safer alternative treatments, as well as directly competing with the petrochemical industry. However, all of this changed in December after Trump signed the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018, legalizing industrial hemp on a national scale. Okay, now, I've been bashing Trump for the past couple of days. I even bashed him a little bit today in my video that's processing. But I will give credit where credit is due. That probably is, so far, the best thing Donald Trump has done for this country. And it was a good move. And despite this, law enforcement across the country continues to go after entirely legal businesses for selling this THC-free version of the cannabis plant. And they are being exposed for the tyrants that they are. Even the mainstream media, who have long suppressed and ignored the benefits of the hemp plant, are now forced to cover its benefits. I mean, hemp can make better oil. It can make better plastics. Plastics that, if a lazy motherfucker threw it out their car window, like so many lazy motherfuckers do, it would degrade much, much quicker and not be harmful like the petroleum-based plastics. And by the way, there is a solution to all of the plastic waste out there. You can build a very simple machine where you can turn plastics back into gases and then back and still it into a liquid, and you have liquid petroleum. And here's a little more good news, this time from law enforcement. Not that I'm a fan of these people, but this, like I said, I got to give credit where credit is due, even if I don't like the jobs of the individuals I'm giving credit to. Sheriff says he's willing to go to jail and refuses to enforce new gun confiscation laws, or law rather. And by the way, Colorado just passed a confiscation law. In February of 2018, after the tragic shooting in Parkland, Florida, President Donald Trump took to national television to betray his oath to the Constitution and his supporters, and famously said, "Take the guns first, go through due process second." While this was largely ignored by his base and downplayed in the media since then, that's exactly what's been happening. On Friday, Democratic Governor Jared Polis signed one of the most controversial red flag gun confiscation bills into law. The silver lining to this tyranny is that sheriffs are refusing to enforce it and even willing to go to jail to resist. And it's unfortunate that they didn't do this for every single unconstitutional law passed. I mean, they would have a lot easier jobs if they had. As politicians and anti-gun rights activists continuously chant, "We don't want to take your guns," behind the scenes, in only 1 year, politicians have been working overtime to limit your right to bear arms, as if they haven't already put enough limits on your rights as it is. Remember, people, even when you're unable to buy guns from, sources like gun shops and pawn shops and sporting goods stores, they are readily available on the black market. A lot of them still in the box. A lot of them never fired. A lot of them have the certificates with them. So, you can still get a quality weapon under the table. And that's exactly what will end up going on here. It will cause a massive demand in the black market. And there's already a large demand for guns on the black market, and these kinds of laws, this kind of government intervention, only pushes more business to the black market. In just the first 6 months after the shooting in Parkland and the president's statement, the Gifford Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence recorded a whopping 55 new gun control measures in 26 states. That number is now far greater as states like Colorado pass red flag gun laws to literally do what Trump advocated for in February of 2018. They are taking the guns first and seeking due process second. And by the way, once they get your guns, it is very, very difficult to get them back. This is why it's best that nobody know you have them. This is why it's best that you don't flaunt the fact that you have guns. This is why it's best if you don't even say anything about guns. Somebody that dislikes you in one of these places sees you with a weapon, they might think, I can call the cops on him now. Maybe he could get killed. I mean, after all, how many people in the last 5 years have cops executed? And by the way, don't ever expect the real numbers of people killed or injured by police to come out. Never happen. So there's that. More intrusions on your gun rights. What's it going to take before you do what needs to be done, people? So, credit due to the sheriffs who are standing against these laws. Although it is too little, too late. So there's that. let's see, what else is there? This is just another extortion racket for probably a license plate sticker or some other arbitrary requirement now pressed upon the citizens of Haymarket, Virginia. And this article starts off true enough. Common sense among those who work inside the state is a rare commodity. And any of us who've ever dealt with the state understand this. We understand that they're a bunch of rude assholes when you go to these places. Agents of the state, like those who work in law enforcement, often become so blinded to reality by just doing my job. They throw logic and reason to the wayside, choosing authority and force instead. Nothing highlights this blind order following quite like the Haymarket Police Department in Virginia enforcing the requirement for citizens to purchase a $15 sticker for their vehicle and promising to steal their money if they do not comply. The vehicle stickers are part of a new extortion program rolled out by county officials in Haymarket. The sticker is not an inspection sticker to prove that your lights and horn work. It is entirely arbitrary and designed solely for revenue collection purposes only. As I told you many videos back, states, counties, cities, they are getting creative in their fundraising activities. You are going to be robbed blind to the point where you are going to collapse into poverty. Haymarket Police Chief Kevin Land took to Facebook this week to warn the citizens that his officers, instead of solving and preventing crimes, will be patrolling the streets to extort people for not having this sticker. The chief threatened the citizens with a $35 fine if they do not have a sticker. He then said that if the citizens choose to bring that ticket into the department and buy a sticker, that he would forgive their debt. However, Lance said that if you don't do that within 2 weeks, he will take another corrective action against you. Corrective action. Do you hear that? Corrective action. That's what they call it now. Corrective action. You remember that. I'm sure you Trump supporters who end up in FEMA camps will hear that one a lot. Corrective action. The detainee was unruly, so we had to take corrective action against them. What these corrective actions will consist of is not entirely clear. However, police officers have only one tool to enforce the law, and that is the escalation of force. If citizens do not submit to this extortion, they can and will be kidnapped, caged, or killed. And that is the true reality of that matter. You remember that song by Ice-T back in the 90s, Colors? And then he says, peace is a dream, reality is a knife. Boy, was he right. Only in this case, the dream is to be left alone by the state. The reality is you can, or they can, and will kidnap, cage, or kill you. So there's that. Anyway, thought I'd share these things with you. I hope you decide to join the war against the beast. Till next time, kill the state, live free.